Good morning and welcome. You are with the Skeinz Diaries. I am Marie. It is Monday, the 4th of September. We're in a new month. It is spring. I'm even feeling a little bit spring. Got one of my sort of lighter weight cardigans on today. Episode 274. I know, where does time go? Time flies when you're having fun. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. And of course, new month. And you may have seen new month is Spotlight month. And we're doing September, Southlander September. And we do a spotlight on Southlander actually most years. And there is a reason for this. It is our classic Kiwi perennial favourite. It is probably one of, if not our best-selling yarn. In fact, it is our best-selling yarn. It overtook Perrindale a couple of years ago. And it is the one that we just love and we adore, and we sort of do little extensions to it. And it is, as you know, one of my absolute favourites. So this morning I thought I would bring you just a whole bunch of ideas for Southlander. We've got plenty of samples knitted in the shop in it. Good morning, everybody. Plenty of samples knitted in the shop. I've rated my wardrobe here, so I've brought those in as well, so people can see those too. Good morning, can see them. And I'm also did on Friday, I spent a bit of time and I've left what I cast on sitting at home on the couch, but that's okay because I'm going to show you the other. I have been doing a little bit of work on a few other things in terms of the design. The poncho that I knitted for Knit August Nights. Yes, look, I'm glad you're all sitting down. Don't spill the teacups because I am actually going to get that written up. And in fact, I've handwritten pretty much most of it. I just need to knit one more. It doesn't take long to knit. I just need to knit one more to check my measurements, and then I'll probably whip it out to our Dell to get her to test it for me. It's not going to require a lot of testing. It's pretty. Oh, good morning, Dell. I speak and she appears. I was just saying, Dell, I've handwritten up my poncho. I'm going to knit one, and then I may even just send you a photograph of my handwritten notes and get you to do a quick test, and then I'll send it off to my compatriot down in Christchurch to check it, maybe for a bit of quick ticking. Not that, again, it's going to require much. It's a fairly straightforward pattern, and I actually aim to have that out for you. I'm going to give myself a month, but I would like to get that out to you for maybe next month, and it will be free because I don't charge for my patterns. I don't. That's just how I roll. But I'm really happy with it, and I've knitted now 4 of them, maybe 5 of them, all different weights, but I'm going to settle on the what I'm calling it the ratio because it is based on a bit of a ratio. The freebie version will be just the most common version, which will be what I've used so far, 6mm needles. And I've used anywhere between DK yarn up to bulky weight yarn on that 6mm needle. So there is actually a little bit of latitude there. And it's because it's a poncho. It doesn't have to, we've got, it, yeah, I've got a little bit more room and flexibility to play with. So that's what I'm going to do. So actually, we'll talk about this now since I've started that. So I dived into Stash. So as you well know, I grabbed this from Knit August Nights, talked about it the other day, and I adore it. Is it just not delicious? And I got this from the fabulous Sue Goodley. And I grabbed it. Because it's a colour. I'm a magpie, right? So I will get attracted. There are 2 things that will attract me. One is colour and the other is texture. I saw the colour straight away. I literally covered it for about 2 days. No one bought it. So before the Sunday market, I went in and scooped it up. Didn't even look at the tag, didn't look at the ply, looked at nothing. I just, all 5 skeins that she had. I thought garment or poncho. Poncho's what I was thinking. Brilliant. I'm going to grab it. And then I went to wind it off and I thought, gosh, it's a bit thin. No, it's our yarn. It's a bit thin. And then I looked and of course it's 4-ply, isn't it? It's 4-ply. So I was like, oh, and I was a little bit sort of miffed. However, I thought to myself, well, don't panic because I love the colour, so it doesn't matter if it's 4-ply because I'll find something to make, and I've got more than a garment lot for 4-ply. So I wound it off, and then I decided to do a little bit of deep stash diving because I hadn't, to play around with it. And when I went to do my stash diving and I was looking for things for poncho, and so I had this, and then I dived into the stash and found this guy because you can see why I pulled that out. And so it's this beautiful emerald green. This is a sample ball of yarn. I've got 1, 2, 3, about 8 of these, I think. Now, these were a sample that we had made for somebody a million years ago. And as you can see, there's a higher angle of twist on that sucker. It's merino something. I've got a funny feeling it's I know. I do. Now that I'm looking at it, I do know what it is. This is how it's really old. This is a merino silk yarn that we had made for someone. I think these were the sample balls. Well, I know that. I know, not I think. I knew. These are the sample balls that we made for the client, and they predate me working here, and I've been here 17 years. So these are probably 18, 19 years old. And this was for a merino silk yarn done for that client. And we'd obviously, I think, had a bit of a clean out at some point, and I've bought these when they came out, so they didn't make it out to the shop. And this would have been probably, I know I bought these not long after I started working. So I've had these in my stash for a very long time. So as I said, beautiful colour. So I initially pulled them out because of that. The other thing I pulled out, this was sitting in a bag with this. Now, some of you may recognise that from a couple of years ago. This was the Stephen B. limited edition print that we did for the 10-year anniversary of Cannes. And so, of course, these two were living in a bag together, because I sort of thought to myself, well, they're happy friends. They're going to make friends. They need to make friends. They're going to be in a bag together because I don't know what's going to happen. They're probably going to do something together. Also in that bag, and it's not here because it's sitting in my knitting basket at home, I had the mohair. We also did Whisper Fine mohair in the same colour and print, which looks freaking amazing with this. So what I did on Friday is I wound off one of these, and I wound off one of the mohairs. I had 2 skeins of mohair, 500 metres per skein. And I swatched them together on a 6mm, because I was still thinking poncho, people, on the 6mm. And it was gorge, absolutely gorgeous. Like I just took one look at it, and it was like, wow. And this color here is prevalent in that peacock, as is this little goldy color here is also in it as well. The one thing that the mohair has is this really rich electric blue. So when I knitted the swatch, I had the colors come through of this with the 2 colors that matched and toned, and then these little electric blue pops of mohair. It just looked amazing. So then the light bulb went off, as it does, and I thought, ooh, I know what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you actually when I bring it in. And by the time I bring it back in, probably on Thursday, I would have gone past the certain section. You'll see exactly what I'm up to. So then I completely hived off and thought, oh no, I'm not going to do what I plan to do with it. I'm going to go and do something else. That's okay. So that's sorting that out. So then I've got this. And I thought, well, this poncho works I really love the poncho striped. So by having 8 balls of this, I'm pretty certain I've got enough. And the way the stripes work is that on the stocking stitch section, they're 2-row stripes. So even 2-row stripes. On the garter stitch section, they alternate between 2 rows of garter, 2 bumpity bumps of garter, and 1 row of bumpity bumps of garter. And there's, because of a short row, and there's a reason for that. Anywho, and I like things in odd numbers. Don't ask why. And I thought I really do need a 3rd colour to add to that. So lo and behold, because I like the idea of the texture of a little bit of fluff, sitting in my bag of tricks this is the leftover from my shoji. So, and I had... I'll put those down. 1 and a bit balls left. So I had a full ball left, full ball of the aria, plus a most ball, and these couple of bits of the cyan. So then I put all those together, and hello, that's what I call myself a party, people. Look at that. And of course, very much in my colours. So there, all of a sudden, there's my poncho. So this is what the poncho is going to be. I'm going to do my two row garter, 2-row stocking stitch stripes in this green. And then I'm going to alternate my single rows using the fluff and the multicolored here. So that's the plan at this stage. Now I say that, hold on, how many have I got of those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, I've got 8. I should have enough. I should, she says, I should have enough. I should have enough. I've only got 2 of these, so that's why I'm going to do that. So yeah, so it's plan, Stan. And of course, when I get to the roll collar, the roll collar may end up just being this, depending on how much of this I've got left over. So that's the plan. So so that is all the yarn for the poncho, which is great. So I just need to get that cast on, but I've been a bit distracted by the other. But I will, because the poncho is such a relaxed, easy knit. So that is the best thing about doing a bit of a deep stash dive. And this is what I'm hoping that this poncho will be for people. It will be something that you can dive in and use up lots of crazy yarns. And all my ponchos, so the very, very first one I knitted was initially the plan was to create a design to feature our new Albertine colours. Well, how many years ago did we launch Albertine? More than 1 or 2. So the first one is just using stepwise colour in the Albertine. And it's since then morphed into this design that I can play around with colour and texture. Thank you, Stephen Berg, because he was the one that inspired me to do that, Stephen B. And I think that's where its happy place is. It's a place where I've even got some incredible yarn that I bought with him when I was overseas. And it's really special. It's a stunning cashmere and sparkles, and it's amazing. And I'm suddenly thinking, I've had that sitting in a bag, seriously, since January 2020, and I just know that once I get this now, and I've always felt that that's where that yarn's going to end up, is in some sort of crazy wrappy poncho-y contraption. So yeah, so that's the plan, Stan. So it's all good news. Gabby's asking, are you bringing back Cove? Yes. Well, in fact, yes, we are. We've got colour ups that the mill need to do, and Cove is on the list of colour ups. So we've actually got some base yarn there. So it is coming back. It just needs to, since we did the big Spotlight promotion on Cove, a number of the colours have sold out. They just need to be redone. And in that time too, in terms of the redoing, I know that Claire's doing up sales orders for Cove, Snug, because we've got nice Snug, Cove, Snug, some Cozy, and some Perrindale. So we're just getting all those good old core lines back into stock. So that will be happening over this next coming month, which is good news. But speaking of this month, Southlander. So we've got Southlander on Spotlight. And what that means is that we've just dropped the price for the entire month. So there's no rush. You can take your time to figure out what you want to do. At this stage, it is dropped on our core line Southlander and our Highlander heathers. We're just loading today for this week a special promotion on the Southlander by Truly Myrtle. That's going to be a gift with purchased packs for those. We're really excited about that. So Claire we've literally just cleared decks from the can sale. The final orders, the very last few stragglers from that, to the end of the month, actually. All the sales stuff is out, but the last few stragglers will be exiting the building today. Heather packed those on Saturday when we were here. If you've been waiting for your order, it should be turning up any day now, because I know that a massive number went out on Thursday, like 3 crates worth, and a full van went out on Thursday. They had a massive push with two packing teams to get that out. So depending on where you are, a lot of it is turning up today and tomorrow because of courier delivery. A lot is much is overnight, but most of it is 2 day, or for up to 5 day if you're rural. So it is coming. It's out the door here. So that's good news. But Southlander. So we thought we'd do something a little bit more relaxed with the Southlander. We have also got a few other quirky things coming in throughout the month, but Southlander is the one anchor point for us this month. And we're doing it because we love it. We're doing it because it's probably, of all the ranges that we do, it is my most, I love this range. There's ranges that have special places in my heart. Vintage is one, Southlander is another. And I've knitted a lot in it. So I've literally brought my wardrobe in from home, or some of it from home, so I can have it here so people can see it knitted up. And the first thing I thought I'd show you, speaking of yarns that were, and some of I haven't actually pulled this out and showed anybody since lockdown, I think since the lockdowns. This guy here, this is actually a sweater that I made for my husband, which I now wear. So oh gosh, it's covered in me hair and dog hair because I just love it. Look, this is a classic. If you are somebody that has lots of old naturally patterns, you will recognize this. It is a Gita Shraddha classic, broken rib, classic drop shoulder. So we're talking essentially here, people, you're looking at and I think the shaping here is even minimal. You're essentially looking at two rectangles and a trapezoid here. The sleeves are longer because he's got longer arms than I do, so I have to roll the sleeves up. I knitted this in the very first prototype yarn for the Southlander Bracken colours, because back in those days, we only had 4 shades of Southlander, and they were cream, oatmeal, charcoal, 5 actually, bracken and bark. You may remember the bark, which was the dark brown colour. The bracken is still in existence. That's all it was. Southlander was just 5 colours. 5 colours. They were all on fold over hanks. They were our version of the classic Kiwi homespun. That's why we created it. We did it in 1 count only, which was this sort of heavy DK. So it straddled standard DK, and it sort of started moving into Aran weight territory, quite deliberately so, because we wanted it to knit into those classic Aran style patterns. So we did this thing where we decided to over dye the bracken base to see and actually we did bracken, cream and oatmeal, and we did a number of trials, and this was what is now, it's actually this is a wee bit darker, but this is what is now the Java bracken. So this is what this is a sample, and so this is eons old, and as you can see, it still looks fabulous. I still wear it all the time. I love it. And so I've got that. So that's one. It's been so worn for so long, like all that itch and scratch factor is gone. That it was a little bit there. It was just, I mean, I love this yarn, and this shows you how it stands the test of time. So that's that one that's coming in. And again, great if you're looking for something to knit for big strapping lads or big strapping lasses. It is just such a great yarn. Then, of course, over the COVID period, I knit a lot in Southlander, and I just, because that's what we had to hand. And during the first lockdown, I happened to have some of this at home, so some Southlander charcoal sport at home, and I don't know why I grabbed it. I can't even remember why I grabbed it. But the reason I had it was, and I wanted to knit something and cast something on with all of you guys. So if you may remember, this is the Rambler. It's Marcella Chen. And I started the Rambler based on this yarn in here. So this entire design was built around this one yarn, which was the single ball. When I dived in my stash, speaking of stash diving, dived in my stash, and I had a single ball of Noro Silk Garden. So it's the Silk Garden 4-ply, which is what that one is. And I based everything around these colours in here. So I had a little bit of dusky blue bracken there. I wanted to go the charcoal, and then this golden one here was Daring from Little Bandit. So I had a little bit of that. So that's cool. They all worked, created this lovely piece of colour work, free on Ravelry. And what I did, of course, this is Marie being Marie. Did I follow the pattern? Sort of. I followed the pattern actually at the top part. I followed the pattern all the way down to about here, top down to here, and then went off piste, as I have a tendency to do. And where I went off piste is I decided to put in an A-line to accommodate my voluptuous arse. So that went in. So I added some increases down the side. And then once I started doing that, I thought to myself, actually, we're still in lockdown and I'm going to turn this into a tunic, a knitted tunic. Because normally you would have actually finished this at about here. And I thought to myself, yeah, I'm going to keep going. So I did. I kept going and knitted myself a tunic. And it's really funny because I knitted this. And when I first knitted it, and I got it finished and I wore it and it actually was a little bit snug. It was a bit snug because one had done too much cooking over lockdown and she was a little bit snug. So this lived here for a while and then it came home and then it lived in the naughty corner, sort of packed in my drawer. And I actually, to be fair, hadn't worn it for a couple of years. And it came out of the shop because there were just too many modifications and the people, it just was too hard for the girls to write down all my modifications because I'd made too many changes to it. However, I dug it out this winter. I saw it in the bottom of the drawer and I thought, and for a day that I was home, it was frigid and cold and it was about 6 weeks ago. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to pull that out and wear that. I'm just at home. It doesn't matter if it's a bit clingy around the squidgy bits. And I'll just wear it because I'm here by myself and put me tights on, put this on, had a t-shirt on underneath. I thought it'll be lovely and cozy because it was so freaking cold. Well, I've obviously shed a few pounds since then and it fits beautifully. So you may have seen I've now worn it a few times since. So it has only had its original blocking. It's never been washed and it's now had a lot of wear. And as you can see, there's a few little fluffles there. And the nice thing I love about the Southlander, if you ever want to keep your Southlander looking great, sweater stone is your friend. This is what I love about the Southlander. Couple of little gentle hoofs like that, and then that's it. Look, it's seriously, these sweater stones in Southlander are made in heaven. And look at that, done, perfect. It is the best way to depill these. In fact, I have a sweater stone which really I almost exclusively use on Southlander. And of course, it wears so well, the Southlander, that you hardly need to depill it, which is what I love. I mean, that where I just had a wee rub is actually on the back of my bum. So that's where I'm sitting on a seat and the rub zone, as it were. So, and again, this is now, as I said, I've only washed it the once, but I've worn it so much. It's amazing how this yarn softens with a gentle wash and a wear. So there's that one. Of course, you guys have all seen this. Probably my single most worn sweater that I own is this guy here, which is the Chika. There she is. Southlander bulky. Honestly, I've knitted 2 of these. I really want to do more. The fastest sweaters that I ever knit. I think I knit this is version 2. I think I knit this in 10 days, if that. And that's only doing a little bit of time at night. I don't get a huge amount of knitting time unless I'm on holiday. I banged this out so fast because it's knit on Southlander bulky. It is the fastest thing in the world to knit. It's boxy crop shape. I wear it layered with t-shirts and tights. I wear it over jeans. I wear it over the top of actually a dress. It looks great over the top of I've got a couple of merino dresses, winter dresses that I just wear this over the top of. It really is awesome. Delene's saying, still have no idea who the designer is. Midori Hiroshi is who designed this Chika. So she's gone on and done a whole bunch of other stuff now. I mean, she's done the Paul Klee sweater, which is another great one who, if you've got lots of little bits of colour that you want to use up. She's also done, Oh, she did the Porclay. She's done this. What's the other big one that I talk about of hers all the time? It's gone. It'll come back. Brain will come back. I'm having a mind blank, but I love this. Absolutely love it. She's got a beautiful one with flowers. And it's not Blossom. It's called something else. Anyway, do check. I just love Ranunculus. Thank you, Adele. She's the Ranunculus lady. And in fact, that's how I found Chaika, is I went to have a look at Ranunculus because everyone at that time was knitting Ranunculus. And I like this one better. I just loved the boxy, nature of this one. So I've got to knit this using the cream and the charcoal, but you could do it in any combination. And if you want some really, really quick, super, super, super satisfying, fast knitting, Chaika all day long. Then, of course, I've had a play around. I bought this in, and I wasn't going to, but because, of course, remember the colour ran. Look, you can see the running colour. This is the Goldwing. You guys all remember this. This was when I decided I'd raved and raved and raved about colour work. I'd done the Rambler over there. It was fabulous. It was, I really enjoyed doing colour work. I hadn't done stranded colour work in donkey's years. So this is the Jennifer Steingass Goldwing. And this is stash diving. I had a single ball of this Rainbow County, and I was like, what do I do with it? Because what do you do with it? So I thought this would be perfect. I had enough meterage to do it. The Rainbow County was a 4-ply. This pattern was written for a DK, but she had used a finer weight DK. And the sport weight in our Southlander, we call it sport weight. It is actually technically spun to a 4-ply. In fact, Cozy and Southlander are spun to exactly the same count. This has got an after spin treatment on it to make it machine washable, which does soften it down and flatten it down a little, whereas we don't have that you've still got the spring and the bounce in the Southlander. So I found, and I knitted my Rambler, I did this with the Rambler too, I found that Southlander Sport and a 3.75mm needle are very happy bedfellows. So it's not quite a 4. You get about a 24 stitch tension, and it makes this beautiful lighter weight rustic fabric. And because they'd used a shrink treated fabric, the original Jennifer Steingass sample of this, a lighter sort of slinkier DK, I thought, well, this is that Southlander Sport 375, happy. So I knew what that gauge was. I had the gauge. And I thought, well, I just need to make sure that I build in a little bit more wriggle room with the ease. And as it worked out, I knitted the size that I would have knitted if it was a full 22 stitch gauge. The only thing, if you've ever seen her, she's very through the torso. There's not lots of curvy there. So I, again, did my Rambler trick, and I A-lined. And I put some A-lining in there. And then I also put a wee, and it's not a big one, but a wee slight sway back in the back here. And the reason I did that was just to, give me a little bit of extra butt coverage. It wasn't much, just a few short rows to do that. And again, I thrash this, and I just utterly love it. And I've only washed it the once. And of course, I did it in cold. And what happened? The county ran. I could have cried. In fact, I did cry. And of course, this actually needs you can see there, few little fuzz bunnies there. Super easy. Oh, there we go. Done. Look at that. Easy. So easy. So that's from my wardrobe collection. And those are all things that I wear currently. I wear all the time. Patricia's saying she loves her Locatelli's boxy pullovers. Her first was in Southlander Sport Foxy Red, plus several DK versions. Yes, great suggestion, Patricia. I've seen several boxies in Southlander, and it's a great choice for that. In the shop here, the other couple of sweaters that I really want to show you in the shop speaking, actually, let's start with Hohi because I've got actually a Hohi here. Is this one here? This is Hohi Locatelli's. This one is Woolen Berries, which is that lovely classic striped option that's using the silver, which is that guy there. And this one's using the Loganberry. But since we've had this sample knitted, I think it would look incredible with the Highlander Heathers in the Glencoe. Wouldn't that be gorge? Or you could even go with the Stornoway, which is the Highlander Heathers. And the reason I grabbed the Stornoway is as you know, I've just done Love Note in this. Actually, that's the one sweater I forgot to grab and bring in. I need to go and do that. But Chika, if you wanted to do a lighter weight Chika and not go quite into the bulky, but sort of stretch the gauge out a little bit, ooh, that would look good too. Anywho, I digress. So that's Hohi. The other two samples we've got in this one here we've had in the shop for donkeys. This is in oatmeal. Many of you may recognise it. This is the Weekender by Andrea Mowry. We've done this in Southlander DK. It is brilliant. It is so good in this yarn. It just, the pattern, it's great. It works beautifully in this yarn. It just looks fantastic. The number of times that one gets tried on, I can't tell you. And the other yarn we actually have made up is, you will recognise this. This is Phoenix from Trudy Myrtle. Again, so she used that actually in more of a 10-ply. But this, in our Southlander DK, is fabulous. I know she's had this knitted up using her colourways. This is using the Misty Rose and the silver through that portion there. So those are all options, and I just highlight those because there's, many of you I know have the Weekender in Phoenix already in your pattern library. So, Alpine, there we go, Alpine Bloom, Caitlin Hunter. Yes, Del, absolutely. It's, I'm really into having a good little dive around in your pattern libraries or into your stashes, seeing what you've got and adding and complementing. And this is why we love doing the spotlights, and we leave the spotlights on for an entire month because it gives you time to plan. It's not like our other sales where you have to, it's like buying concert tickets, right? You've got to get in, get in fast because it might disappear. Yes, do we go through a lot of stock during spotlight period? Yes, we do. But it does give you a chance. We only put something on Spotlight if we know we've got reasonable depths of stock, which we do on Southlander, bar one exception, which I think is Oatmeal Sport. And it allows you time to plan. It allows you time to have a little dig around in your own stash, to see what's there, to decide what you want to do. See if you want to pull out a unicorn skein and do a little marriage, or have a look in your pattern library and think, oh, I might give that the Southlander treatment. Libby is busy doing re-knitting a lot of her designs in the Southlander collections, and I'm kind of hoping that definitely by Thursday that I'll be able to put up that special for the Myrtle yarns. So that's going to be a gift for purchase. We're just super excited about that, and we just have a look and do that. And the beautiful thing about this is $7.95 for a 100-gram ball. $7.95 for a 100-gram ball. It actually makes knitting affordable. And we want to be able to do that to make knitting affordable for you. So, yeah, it's fun. I love Southlander month. It makes me happy. I hope it makes you happy too. I'll keep you posted on my progress with the designs that I'm doing. So hopefully you'll get to see those evolve. And with any luck, I would have evolved the current one a little bit further so you can see what that looks like. And I'll get that poncho cast on as well. I just need to find more knitting time. Wouldn't that be a fine thing? But now that Can's out of the way, I'm kind of hoping I will have more knitting time. But other than that, hopefully you get to cast something on for spring. That's always fun. And congratulations to Sue Copus. She was our winner for Speakeasy this past month. So we'll be getting a prize out for that. And Kiwi Classic is our theme in Speakeasy this month over there on Facebook. Alrighty, I will see you on Thursday. Cast on something new, people. It's always fun. It's spring cleaning time. Clean out those old whips and cast on something new. There you go. there's some fun for you. Until then, I'll see you Thursday. Take care.